Before sunrise, when most people are still asleep, a small boy named Eli walks the streets with empty hands and a heavy heart. He has no home, no family waiting, and no clear future. Yet every morning, he wakes up with one hope, that today might be different. This is not just a story about poverty. It is a story about kindness showing up where no one expected it. Stay with me, because what happened to Eli on one cold morning changed his life forever, and it might change how you see the world too. Eli was 12 years old when he began living on the streets. His mother had died from illness, and his father disappeared soon after. With no relatives willing to take him in, Eli slowly drifted from house to house until no doors opened anymore. He slept under bridges, behind clothes shops, and sometimes on church steps. Each night, he hugged his thin jacket tightly, pretending it was someone who cared for him. Hunger became normal. Loneliness became his closest companion. Every morning, Eli searched for food in dustbins, old baskets, and leftovers from restaurants. Some days he found bread. Some days he found nothing. People walked past him like he was invisible. Some avoided his eyes. Some looked afraid. A few were rude. Eli stopped asking for help because rejection hurt more than hunger. He told himself, "I will survive on my own." But deep inside, he still wished someone would see him, not as a problem, but as a person. One day, the city felt colder than usual. Dark clouds covered the sky, and rain was already falling. Eli's shoes had holes, and water soaked his socks. He shivered as he walked slowly, searching for shelter. He noticed a small building at the corner of a quiet street. It was not a church, not a shop, and not a school. It looked like an old repair shop with faded paint and a broken sign. Eli decided to hide under its roof. As Eli stood there, a strong smell came from inside the building. It was a smell of food, warm, sweet, and real. His stomach growled loudly. He felt embarrassed, even though no one was around. He peeked through the door and saw a woman inside. She was cooking large pots of soup and bread. She wore simple clothes and had gentle eyes. Eli wanted to run away, but his hunger kept him frozen at the door. The woman noticed him. Instead of shouting or chasing him away, she smiled. She said, "Hello, young man. Are you cold?" Eli did not answer. He had learned that talking could bring trouble. The woman slowly walked toward him and gave him a towel. "Come in and warm up," she said kindly. Eli hesitated, but the rain was heavy and his body was weak. He stepped inside, not knowing this small choice would change everything. Inside the building, Eli saw long tables, empty chairs, and big cooking pots. The woman poured him a bowl of hot soup and gave him bread. She did not ask his name. She did not ask questions. She just watched him eat. Eli tried to eat slowly, but hunger made him fast. Tears fell into his soup, and he wiped them quickly. No one had fed him like this in a long time. He felt safe, even if just for a moment. After he finished eating, the woman finally spoke again. "My name is Mrs. Hale," she said. "This place is called the corner table." Eli looked confused. "It's a place where anyone can come and eat," she explained. "No money needed." Eli whispered his name for the first time in months. "Eli." Mrs. Hale smiled. "You're welcome here, Eli. Today, tomorrow, and any day you need." Eli began coming every day. The corner table became his favorite place. He helped wash dishes, clean floors, and carry water. Mrs. Hale never forced him, but he wanted to help. For the first time, he felt useful. Other people came too. Old men, tired women, hungry children. They all sat together and ate. No one judged anyone. Eli noticed something special. Everyone looked lighter after eating, not just because of food, but because of kindness. One afternoon, Eli asked Mrs. Hale why she did all this. She paused and said, "Because once I was the one who needed help." She explained that years ago, she lost everything in a fire, her home, her shop, and her savings. She survived because strangers helped her. "Kindness saved me," she said. "Now I return it." Eli listened carefully. He realized kindness was not just something you receive. It is something you pass on. As weeks passed, Eli changed. He smiled more. He spoke more. He even laughed sometimes. Mrs. Hale noticed he liked reading signs and posters. She gave him old books from a box. Eli read every day after cleaning. His mind opened like a door that had been locked for years. He started dreaming again, not about money, but about becoming someone who helps others, just like Mrs. Hale helped him. One evening, a man in a suit came to the corner table. He was from the city council. He said the building might be closed because it had no official support. People became afraid. Mrs. Hale stayed calm, but Eli could see worry in her eyes. The place that saved him might disappear. That night, Eli could not sleep. He thought about life before the corner table. He did not want to go back to that darkness. The next day, Eli did something brave. He stood outside the building and spoke to people passing by. He told them his story. He told them how this place fed him, warmed him, and gave him hope. Some people ignored him, but some stopped. Some listened. Some cried. Soon, more people came inside. They asked how they could help. Eli felt nervous but proud. For the first time, he was not just receiving kindness. He was spreading it. News about the corner table began to travel. Local shops donated bread. Farmers brought vegetables. Students volunteered to help cook. The city council returned and saw the crowd. They saw how important the place had become. They decided to support it instead of closing it. Mrs. Hale cried when she heard the news. She hugged Eli tightly and said, "You saved this place." Eli shook his head. "No," he said, "kindness saved it." 1 year later, Eli was no longer sleeping on the streets. With help from volunteers, he was placed in a small home with a kind family. He went to school for the first time in years. He still came to the corner table every weekend to help. Everyone there called him Little Helper. Eli liked that name. It reminded him of who he was becoming. Not a homeless boy, but a boy with a purpose. At school, Eli worked hard. Learning was not easy at first, but he never gave up. He remembered the days of hunger and pain, and he used them as strength. His teachers noticed his kindness too. He shared his food. He helped slow learners. He listened when others were sad. People trusted him because he understood what it felt like to be alone. His past became his power. One day, Eli was asked to speak at a school event about helping others. He was nervous, but he remembered how he once spoke outside the corner table. He told his story again. He talked about hunger, fear, and hope. He talked about Mrs. Hale and unexpected kindness. When he finished, the hall was quiet. Then everyone clapped. Some teachers wiped tears. Eli realized his voice could change hearts. Mrs. Hale grew older, but she never stopped working at the corner table. Eli often visited her after school. They talked like family. She told him, "I may not be your mother, but I will always be proud of you." Eli replied, "You didn't give me life, but you gave me a reason to live." They both smiled. Their bond was built not by blood, but by love. Years passed. Eli became a young man. He went to college to study social work. He wanted to help people who were forgotten, just like he once was. Every holiday, he returned to the corner table. He cooked, cleaned, and talked with people. Some of them reminded him of his old self. He treated them with respect because he knew every person carried a hidden story. One rainy morning, Eli met a small boy standing outside the corner table, just like he once did. The boy looked cold and afraid. Eli walked to him and said, "Are you hungry?" The boy nodded. Eli gave him soup and bread. The boy ate with shaking hands. Eli watched quietly, remembering his own tears years ago. History was repeating itself, but this time, Eli was the one giving. The boy's name was Sam. Eli told him, "You are safe here." Sam did not smile yet, but his eyes looked lighter. Mrs. Hale watched him from a distance and smiled. She knew her kindness had grown into something bigger than her. It had grown into Eli. And now, it was growing into Sam. The corner table became more than a building. It became a symbol. People said, "If you are hungry, go there. If you are lonely, go there." It was not just about food. It was about dignity. Eli often said, "Food fills the stomach. Kindness fills the soul." People remember that line. It became written on the wall of the corner table. One day, Mrs. Hale passed away peacefully. The whole city came to honor her. Eli stood in front and spoke. He said, "She taught me that kindness is not loud. It is quiet, steady, and strong." People cried, but they also smiled because her kindness was still alive in every person she touched and in every person they helped after. Eli took over the corner table. He did not change its heart, only its size. It grew bigger, but it stayed simple. No one was ever turned away. Rich or poor, young or old, everyone sat together. Eli remembered what it felt like to be invisible, so he made sure no one ever felt unseen inside those walls. Sometimes, Eli stood outside early in the morning and watched the street. He remembered the cold, the hunger, and the fear. But he also remembered the smell of soup, the gentle voice of Mrs. Hale, and the moment his life changed. He whispered, "Thank you," even though she was gone. He knew she could somehow hear it. People often asked Eli how he became so kind. He answered, "Because someone was kind to me when I least expected it." He taught others that you don't need much to change a life, just time, care, and a willing heart. Some listened, some didn't, but enough listened to make a difference. Eli believed kindness
Years
was like
later,
a seed. Eli wrote a book about his life. It grows. He did not write
if you
to become
ignore it,
famous. It dies.
He wrote.
He spent his
people
life
understand
planting
that
the seeds
heroes
in
are not
people's
always
hearts.
rich or
Some grew
powerful.
fast. Sometimes
Some grew slow.
They are quiet women
But
cooking
every
soup
seed
in
mattered.
small buildings.
He never stopped believing that
Sometimes
the world
they
could
are
be better.
children who choose
One
courage
small
instead
act
of
at a
fear.
time.
The book traveled far. People from other cities came to visit the corner table. They started similar places in their own towns. Kindness began to travel faster than hunger. Eli watched it all with humble eyes. He knew it did not start with him. It started with one woman who opened her door. So when you see someone alone, remember Eli. When you have extra food, remember the corner table. And when you feel small, remember this. Kindness does not need power, money, or fame. It only needs a heart willing to care. A homeless boy found kindness in the most unexpected place. And because of that, the world became a little brighter.